Hey, what's up YouTube? This your boy Baby Boy, and today I'm going to bring you some Nioh 2 beta gameplay, specifically the Yokai shift controls that have been introduced into the game. So essentially what the Yokai shift control is, you are able to enter a Yokai transformation, and that will essentially change your character into a Yokai for a number of seconds, and you could essentially attack with the ferocity of a Yokai. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of take you through the basics that the beta introduces with the first shift. So there are a total of 3 in the beta. I don't know how many there are in the game, but we're gonna go over the brute right now. There's a lot of information to cover, and I have a list here of things to go over. So yeah, so what the beta shows you is how the moves work, but not the nitty-gritty details, which I'm going to cover that here in this quick video. So leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more information as I figure out the game. So first and foremost, I played Nioh for a while, so I'm very familiar with the controls, and I have an idea of what to do. So this essentially right here is your counter attack when you see enemies flash red. If you've seen some other YouTube videos, or you see some other gameplay footage of yokais turning red and then attacking, this right here will essentially prevent them from doing that. So I'm going to play the movie. So when they flash red, you hit them with this attack with R2 plus circle, and it essentially knocks them out of that. So I'm going to demonstrate it here. So essentially what you want to do is lock on and wait for your enemy to do that. Each yokai's attack is different. So essentially when you do that, hit them. And then as you can see, they're stunned. Then you can finish them off. So before we move on, let's go over a few things here. So when you're playing the beta, go to the Guardian Spirit, because this is where a lot of the yokai information is. So I've taken some notes here. Let me just break it down for you so you don't have to sift through it yourself. So the first spirit that it introduces you to is Makami. This is a brute spirit. This is a fire-based spirit as well. So this will probably be one of the first spirits that you get in the game. So the first note here that I noticed when going through the menus is that the yokai soul cores dictate what yokai square ability you use and a triangle ability. So if you see here in the middle of the screen here, it says Ippon Datara Soul Core and Yokai Soul Core. Those are your yokai abilities. So if you come out of this, when you hold down R2, your character will glow with red horns, and your prompt here to the left of your health bar will suddenly read circle, triangle, square. So based on whatever ability you have equipped in either slot, it'll get different abilities. So for this is called the One-Legged Fury. It's a hard-hitting axe kick, and this is called the Fiendish Frizzy. It's a 2-hit attack. So these are essentially your yokai attacks right here when you're not in yokai form. Now, when you transform into a yokai, you still have access to these abilities. And also notice that when you hold down R2, you see a circle prompt. This is your burst attack. This is how you counter yokais when they enter that red frenzy state for a few seconds. So I'm gonna go back to the menu here. So another note is each animal spirit has 2 slots. So as you can see, Makami has 2 slots. So with this being said, this allows you to have a yokai loadout if you wish. Let's see. It says that the yokai spirit type is dictated by the spirit used. So for example, you'll see later in this demonstration with a fire-based yokai, with a fire brute yokai, you'll see that you have a giant war club when you transform. Okay, we've gone over what happens when the enemy flashes red. So if you do the burst counter correctly, the enemy sustains major stamina damage. This works for humans and yokai alike. The name of the yokai ability is under the core's name. As you can see, one-legged fury and fiendish frenzy. Of course, you have to go to open up the menu to go to see this information under spirit. In yokai mode, press uh, triangle and circle to do a spirit slash yokai combo, which that will be demonstrated later. So let's continue with this. So this goes over your abilities. So as I said, it doesn't really matter what ability you use in the dojo here in the beta, just hit the yokai. So as you can see, there's a little bit of tracking with your ability. So if you're afraid of whiffing, don't be too afraid, especially if your enemy is a bit slower. So now it shows you how to actually transform. So notice, well, if you remember from the first game, when your spirit meter was full, it would pulse like that, and you could use your spirit gauge. It works the same way, so you just simply transform like such. So again, depending on what spirit you have will dictate how your yokai transforms and how they look. So for brute yokais, you will have a giant war club here, and I will go over how this works in a minute. So while in this form, you can actually use charged attacks. Now, I will cover other yokai forms, but in brute, this is possible. So what you do is simply you hold down triangle. I got attacked there, it was an unblockable. So you just hold it down. See how it gets big? Now remember, they can't really kill you in yokai form. They just drain your energy. So as you can see, hurting. So that's essentially your charged triangle attack. Now square doesn't have any charged abilities for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just triangle. So of course, the longer you charge it, the more damage you do. But of course, you have to be a bit quicker on it. So this is how the guardian spirit skill works. So while in yokai form, just press this again, and you and your spirit will do a combo attack, either killing the target or just doing a lot of damage. And if you want to save up some energy, sheath your weapon to exit yokai mode. And we're gonna continue here. So this is just basic attack moves right here. So in base form, you can grapple an enemy when their stamina bar is flashing like that. So in yokai, it's the exact same thing. So just hit them. Well, yeah, just knock them into that state, and then you will do a very flashy kill animation here. And that is essentially how yokai grapples work. It works very similar to how it will work in your human form. So now we are gonna cover one of the hardest parts that they've introduced. So in Nioh, there were no real parry options. You either dodged everything or you just blocked everything. So now you can parry, so the window is very tight. And as you can see, the tracking isn't too good, so you have to line it up just right. And yeah, so don't worry about taking too much damage, it just depends on how strong the enemy is. So I have noticed that you can't parry kicks or punches. It has to be sword attacks. So when done correctly, that's what it look like. So like I said, that will just take some practice to get down, because each enemy attacks differently and they all use different weapons. So train yourself in how to counter certain weapons, especially when the yokai use them. So it seems that you can only counter yokais that actually use weapons. If they punch or kick or try to throw, of course you can't counter those for some reason. But that is my detailing so far. I will cover the other two styles in my later videos, but this is a quick overview of how the brute yokai style works and just how the overall mechanics work. Now each style has a different way of using what I just showed, but they all use the same button presses, they just work differently. So I'm gonna leave it there and stay tuned. I'll let you later. Peace.